Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 63 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel. And not just any guest we have tonight, but one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. He is, before I introduce this man, let me just say he is a former FCW heavyweight champion as he won it on March 18, 2010, defeating the likes of Justin Gabriel. He's also one of my favorite WWE superstars of all times. My guest at this time is Mr. Kevin Kiley Alex Riley Jr. Kevin, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's a total honor, sir, because I've been watching your work ever since my college days, and you've been one of my favorite wrestlers, ever since.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, being in the WWE is a tremendous opportunity for me, and it mixed athletics and my ability to speak, and I felt like I did pretty good. It was a hell of a ride, 10 years, so I'm grateful.
Awesome. And one of the first questions I had for you, sir, was, and this is going to be your typical cliche question, and that is, how did you get your first start in pro wrestling? Take me there.
So I sent a gentleman by the name of John Laurinaitis an audition tape with me speaking. I was covering high school sports, doing sidelines for high school football, and I was also lifting weights a lot. So I was very interested in both. I was a wrestling fan my whole life. So what I did was I contacted the WWE and sent them an audition tape. And then there was a process, of course, for getting me a tryout and all that. And I think the process took about 7 months, but I was lucky enough to get an opportunity.
Cool. And of course, you made your debut in FCW on October 30th, 2007 in a match with Sean Osborne. Memories of your time in FCW and, of course, your win for the FCW Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I believe I beat Justin Gabriel for that title. And I was just actually speaking to him the other day on a Fox News podcast and catching up with him. And it was great to kind of relive those memories, right? And it was fun playing that character, the varsity villain. I felt like it fit really well on my high school and college background and education. And I was good with a microphone, and I could work. So it just fit. And I was blessed enough for, Dr. Tom Pritchard and Steve Kern and Dusty Rhodes, God rest his soul, to invest a lot in me and to see a lot of talent in me.
Awesome. And of course, didn't you had a valet too in FCW, right?
Yes, I believe I did. Certainly Mullins, I believe was her name, but Courtney Taylor was her stage name. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good gimmick. It was a good character and it fit well. And it certainly got me noticed.
Yeah, I mean, you had the whole package. I mean, you could talk, you could wrestle, and that's one of the things I totally respect about you, Mr. Kiley. How did you find out, when you were going to get called up to season 2 of NXT?
Right. So they changed the way that they were calling talent up at that time. They were calling them up individually for the first 3 years I was there. And then they changed the format of how they debuted the talent. And what they did was they created kind of a reality show called NXT. And I was on season 2. And I remember, John Laurinaitis came down, who I had a very good relationship with, and he told me I was going to be one of those 8 guys that was going to debut. And the greatest part about what I enjoyed the most about it was very freelance, right? It was an opportunity to just kind of take a microphone and really kind of say what I wanted and move in a very open space with my character. So once again, I was really grateful for that. And I thought I did very well on that show because of that. I was able to think and move and react in a microsecond. And I really enjoyed that. It was a great test to be on live TV that way.
I agree. And I really liked how how the concept was. It had like you said, a game show, format type thing. And it was just so fun and just entertaining. And I was just curious to know, sir, what was it like working with the other season 2 rookies, Caval, Joe Hennig?
Yeah, it was a time in my life I'll never forget. To be honest, it was a lot of fun, indescribable fun. Caval was a good dude. Michael McGillicuddy, I remember Percy Watson, Lucky Cannon, another Eli Cottonwood, I believe was one of those names. And we all knew each other in FCW and kind of came in together in FCW, and then we were all put on live television. Live television changes a lot. You know what I mean? you know, your nerves are heightened and there's a lot of energy in there, and there's 20,000 people, you know, either cheering for you or trying to boo you out of the building, which they did boo me, right, a lot. But that's what I was up there to, you know, that was the reaction I was chosen to produce, right? And that's really who I was at the time. So it was incredible fun, and a time I'll never forget.
Can I ask you one thing, Mr. Kiley? And is how hard was it not to laugh when Eli Cottonwood was given the word mustache and he had to talk about mustache?
Well, yeah, it was, to be fair to him, you know, we were decent friends at the time, and it was live TV. So yeah, I laughed, but then at the end, you know, for the next week, I we were spending time together, and I was kind of telling him to brush it off, right? Because that was the choose a word challenge, right? And I remember I got the word pigeon, but you had to be very, very, very quick mentally. I'm not saying that he wasn't, right? I mean, it was a hard challenge for everybody, but yeah, it was hilarious, to be honest, and then we all had a good laugh about it. And then you know, next week we were back out there. So yeah, it was funny.
Now, when you said you got the word pigeon though, like were you
Yeah.
told in advance like they're gonna give you this word pigeon?
No, no, we were not told any of that. So that's what I mean. It was very, and you know, you're out there. It was Sci-Fi Network, and you know, it had a really good rating at the time. I think it had either a 1.17 or maybe approaching a 2 rating when we were up there. So we were all very proud of that, and we were pretty much off the cuff, you know, off book and off cuff, and you know, just really reading and reacting to an audience and a live crowd, and not really knowing what the heck was going on most of the time. But that's what made it fun for me, because I always felt like, um, you know, I appreciated the opportunity to think like that, you know, to think on my feet, and create in the moment, you know, and so I think I did a pretty good job. I know they thought I did a good enough job to put me with Miz, so it was good. You know, it was flattering to be given that opportunity.
So like in other like you would say like it's the element of surprise, right? The personification.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Do you have memories of your first audition with WWE?
Yeah, my first audition was you know, a couple pictures and a promo I sent, and then I went in there to do really it was at, I believe it was OVW where I first walked in, and it was just bumping around, you know, for hours with Al Snow, actually, and it was bumping and feeding and flip bumping and back bumping, and they just really wanted to see if I could, you know, if I could move in a way that was applicable to WWE, if I was a good enough athlete, right? And I had some size, and I had the ability to speak. So you know, they were interested, but a lot of it was just kind of, for me, because I didn't have any experience going in there. I had a football background, right? So for me, it was just how does he move, and is he athletic enough to do it? You know, that was the thing.
Now, did you work all three territories, OVW, Deep South Wrestling, and FCW?
Uh, no, I just worked Florida Championship Wrestling. That
Okay.
was it. They just shut down or transitioned their talent from those two just to FCW. So
Okay, and also before my next question, I just want to let you know that and this is just my personal opinion, I really felt like you should have won that season 2 of Tough Enough, and I'll tell you why. Because it's similar to what happened with the Miz in Tough Enough 4, where I really wanted, and everyone in my family, including my father, we said we wanted the Miz to win this, not Daniel Puder, and then.
right.
And like years later, when you're in the final 3, it was you, David Otunga, and Caval. I was really hoping for you to win the season 2.
It was myself. I don't mean to correct. It was myself, Michael McGillicuddy, and
Sorry,
Cabal.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, you know, what I thought I really brought to the table was the ability to speak, right, and create vocally, right, with a character. My work needed to catch up, for sure, to be honest, and I believe it did towards the end of my career. But you know, I really enjoyed the ability to go mic to mic with some of their top guys, you know, and I think that's where a lot of people may have thought I should have won. You know, Caval had wrestled around the world, you know, and was very, Yeah, as low key and very, very talented, and it, you know, you could see it when he worked. I mean, he was very, very talented. Probably still is wherever he is, right? Probably doing a great job. But what I could do is I could speak. You know, I could speak and I could be real, and I could, you know, I could, you know, tell people the, you know, the truth about how I felt, and blend it into a character. You know, and I think that was a gift I just kind of had, that they told me I had, and you know, that might have blurred the line for me, made some people think I should have won the show, and you know, maybe I should have, but I got a good spot coming off of the show on Raw with Miz, so you know, once again, I'm pretty grateful for the whole thing.
I actually have a question about that too, but before I do,
Yeah.
I just want to say that like Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan, like how you were paired with the Miz, and it's like you didn't even need a mouthpiece because you were already a great talker.
Yeah, the thing that Miz and I, where we, you know, where the friction began with us was you know, they kind of made me his lackey, right? Or I was his lackey, you know, and at times you know, I took issue with that, right? Because I thought I was as talented or maybe more talented, right? Once again, he had a lot of WWE experience and a lot of Raw experience, right? But I believe I had something that was kind of intangible, you know, that you couldn't teach. So and that made a great feud for us when I turned on him, because there was some, you know, there was some real heat there, you know, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Good friend still is, but you know, healthy competition doesn't, you know, never hurts, you know. So
Absolutely right. And I wanted to talk to you about that too, because on the September 6th, 2010 edition of Raw, you made your main roster debut assisting your pro, The Miz, against, ironically, his pro from season one, Daniel Bryan. Memories
right.
of that particular night when you debuted, and of course, working with Bryan and Mizanin.
Yeah, so that particular night I was massively nervous, I remember, right? And because I was sneaking in from outside of the arena. I believe that was what had happened. I was kind of making my way through the crowd, and I was going in to help, you know, my boss, right, in the ring. And I had to make my way, and it, you know, it's dark. What you see on TV is you see the ring and it's lit, it's very lit, but the back part is very dark, you know, and I had to make my way through people and security and all that, hop the barricade and slide under, and you know, get on Daniel Bryan. So I remember, you know, the thing about live TV, right? It changes a lot. You know, it changes a lot for everybody. There's a lot of programming that's taped, right? And then there's a lot of programming that's live. And when you're out there live and those lights are on you, it creates a feeling, you know, and it's a lot of energy. So I was, you know, I wanted to do everything correctly for the Miz, and I believe I did. And then, you know, off we went.
Did you prefer working a live Raw or a taped SmackDown at the time?
You know, I always, to be fair, in my career, I was kind of grateful for the opportunities that I did get to work, right? Didn't really matter. I wanted to be in the ring with good people, and I felt like I had the opportunity to do that. But, you know, there's nothing that can replicate live TV, right? You just can't. It's a buzz, it's an energy, it's a, you know, you got to do it right at this time or whatever, and it's something that, you know, I'll take with me for the rest of my life. There, Monday Night Raw, and hearing the pyrotechnics and listening to the music right before it opens, and knowing you're going live around the world, you know, it's a pretty intense feeling. So Raw, you know, of course, anything live, right? It'll create a really good energy.
Totally agree. And
Yeah.
there's one segment, Kevin, that I absolutely love of yours, aside from when you beat the holy hell out of Miz, which we will get into later on. But one
Right.
segment I absolutely love that you did was the Christmas Carol parody on the December 20th, 2020, 10 edition, pardon me.
Right, with Michael Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to get your memories of doing this thing, because I remember, before you answer, I just remember you doing this awesome thing where like you did this funny impression of one of the ghosts where you're like, here's the match from the championship title match from last week.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those things, you know, the character skits, right? Because I felt, you know, I did one with Pee Wee Herman too, you know, and I always enjoyed, and was I thought the WWE was extremely smart uh, to understand that I shined in those positions. You know, they did a really good job of putting me in those positions with my character. where I could express myself in an entertaining way, you know, and I do remember that, you know, it was, I had the chains on and the ghost and all that stuff. And it was, you know, like I said, it's something that, it's something that's so magical that it's at times it's hard to describe, and it's very hard to replicate, and something I'll always remember.
It was one of my favorite memories too.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, I want to get your memories on. I think this was your first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 27 in Georgia, right?
Yes, I was at WrestleMania 27 in Georgia. Yep.
Memories of course, the main event. You tried to help with the Miz.
Oh wow, yeah. No, once again, I remember, you know, Miz and I made our entrance, and the pyro went off, and we came, you know, bursting through the I'm Awesome set, balloon, the massive balloon set, and we made our way down there, and you know, it's like, it's almost like time is frozen as you're walking through it. You know, the best way I could ever describe it to anybody, my family included, was like, you look at you know, you look at the producers, you look at Vince, you look at, you know, Undertaker, and then your music hits, and boom, it's like you're shot into outer space for a while, right? Like a whole nother universe. You know, you're boom, you're out there, and you're moving in such a reactionary space, because the energy, you know, the energy in front of 80, and it was 80,000 people, you know, we made our entrance. And then I remember there was a very calm silence before John came out, right? Because the match was against John. And, you know, it was just a very calm, peaceful, and I just took a minute to look around the Georgia Dome, and I just wanted to take it in, you know, and remember it. And I did, you know, and then, you know, up came John's entrance and his music, and it's very powerful. And truth be told, you can feel the electricity run through you. There's no question, you know, and The Rock has coined that the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And I think it's a genius expression, because you can feel the electricity. It's very real. And once it runs through you, it will change you, you know, and then when you're not doing it, you kind of crave it. Right. So yeah, blast.
And of course, I believe, I think it was either the same month or a month after that, and on the May 23rd, 2011 edition of Raw, you turned babyface, which, and probably the greatest babyface turn I've ever seen in my life, because
Right.
because I felt that it felt really
Right.
cool.
Sure.
And your memories of doing that segment.
So what I remember from that was, you know, I didn't have much to do, right? But read and react. And I didn't quite know what was going to happen. But I remember hearing the audience start chanting, fire him, right? And then it kind of made me a little nervous, right? Because they were really behind Miz, fire him, fire him, fire him. And then he said, you're fired. And he shoved me in the face. And then I turned with the most honest reaction that I could create. And, you know, then we went after each other, you know, and it was real. You know, this thing about WWE, I mean, we all understand what it is, right? We're not fools, right? But there is some space in there for some reality, you know, and you know, when the line is blurred, it's magic, right? And that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to create a moment in time that suspends disbelief, or suspends belief, or however you want to describe it. And it's really an honor to be selected to be one of those people that they think is talented enough to pull that stuff off. Because, you know, the truth is that Miz and I did have, you know, we we were on the road with each other a lot, and we did get on each other's nerves at times. So it really is. It's a pretty special thing, you know, the whole thing.
Whose idea was it to put you with Miz, and also to split you guys up?
You know, I don't know. You know, I really do want to give Vince McMahon a lot of credit, right? And I think he's, you know, I think at the end of the day, he's a genius. You know, I do. And I think he makes a really good, you know, he makes a really good judge on talent. He does. And, you know, I don't quite know. I'm not privy to those conversations of like, when I was moved around, but the audience, the audience too. You're out there performing for the crowd, and you're listening. You want to be entertaining. You want to be believable. You want to believe in yourself, and the people will tell you. If you listen and you're connected to their energy, they will guide you. And I think that's really what happened. I mean, the people, wanted me to turn, and the crowds wanted me to turn, and the energy turned me, and boom, there I went. So.
I just loved how like both you guys made it look. I mean, and it felt so real though. Like I'm thinking to myself, and I'm saying to my friend, referring to you, I said, this man is an excellent storyteller. I mean, this guy's got me feeling this emotion right now, and I'm not even in the show.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's my job, and I prided myself in my job to do it well, and to I'm an artist. You're an artist. You're at the end of the day, you're an artist, right? And you're a storyteller. And you're telling it with your physicality, you're telling it with your voice, you're telling it in a wrestling match, you're telling it backstage and in front of the people, and it has to become who you are, to be good at it, to be great at it, right? I mean, I was a professional, professional, and so I got paid for it, and it was to me, it was a really high calling, it took a lot of dedication, it took a lot of hard work, it took a lot of time knowing myself, and what would create these emotions, what wouldn't, what I could tap into creatively, what I couldn't at times. And I had to make it all entertaining, so it was, once again, it was, it's special, right?
It is. And I still remember the line you uttered, which I loved Miz's reaction when you said it though. It's like, Miz, it's not like I'm the one that said I quit.
Right. Yeah, because he did say he quit. And once again, that's the truth, right? So I got to hold to the truth. And he did say he quit. I didn't, right? And we worked well together. We really worked well together. He was the champion. I was taller, working for him, maybe more athletic. It was a really good, it was just a really good pairing, and they were very smart for doing it that way.
It was. And the following week you had a in-ring interview with Michael Cole. I was just wondering your thoughts on that segment and working with Michael Cole as a whole.
I thought he was great. I thought he was massively talented, very quick mentally, could run a show for 3 hours in his head, and multitasking, very smart person, very smart, very dedicated to what he did. It was easy working with him, right? Because he was good. You wanted to be out there with people that took it seriously. Not to say we all didn't take it seriously, right? We all did. But it was a pleasure. It really was. Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself when he was doing that segment, because Michael Cole does an excellent job selling as a heel, because I was hating him as a heel. And right. I'm thinking to myself, oh, fight, Riley, fight, punch him. Right. And then, then Miz comes out.
Yeah. No, it was really good, and it was intense. It was, it fit the time and the place to do it. Miz and I had a real run together, a real run on top, with The Rock and Stone Cold and, Jerry Lawler, right? I mean, we were up there. We were in, and we were battling it out with the best, right? And we were up there for about 2.5 years. So when I turned on him, it was good. It was hot, right? And as they say in the bit, hot turn, or great baby face turn, and it was, and I, I'm proud of it, right? I'm proud of that space in my life. I thought I did good. I hope I did good. I hope I made him proud, and I drew some money doing it, right? It was fun.
I mean, I loved your run on the main roster, and you had, and this is probably me of like a million people saying this, but you had probably the most lit entrance music I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of energy, right? That's what I prided myself.
That was the song, right?
Yeah, Say It To My Face, and it, when the beat dropped, I came out, right? It was I wanted to create a reaction that was who I was, and I wanted it to move to music. You know what I mean? Because that's what always inspired me when I was watching. When I love the matches, right? Some of the best entertainment on TV ever. but I also love the entrances, and I loved people that could understand what they were trying to do with the entrance and the energy that they were trying to create. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to create as much energy as I could when I came through the curtain, and I almost married it to the music, you know, and I wanted it to become one and the same. And I, you know, I'm and once again, I'm proud when people can remember that, because that was, you know, that was important to me. I wanted people to know when I came through the curtain. I wanted them to feel it through their television. You know, if I'm in New York, I wanted them to feel it in California through their television. And I wanted them to feel it in the audience and in the arena. And I think I did that.
I think you did. And
Yeah.
now you took part in 2 Royal Rumbles in 2011, 2012, where you actually entered at number 2 in the 2012 one. My,
Right.
my question is, for this one is a two-parter, and that is, how are the Rumble spots planned out between all the 30 participants, and are all 30 participants literally in gorilla position waiting for their number to be called on?
So they're not really planned out, right? Because you're out there for a long time, you know. So they're kind of, you know, they're, you know, there's a little bit of a blend there, you know. And no, they're not. It's a long match. You know what I mean? So you know when you're, you know when you're supposed to go out, and then when you get in the ring, you know, things happen and they change. You know, so that's what makes it great television, is you never really can predict it, right? And I know I got caught in, you know, a couple Royal Rumble events where, you know, it's a living, breathing, you know, moving, you know, event, and you know, it's a fight. You know what I mean? So things happen and people go out, and you know, that's why I call it the Royal Rumble, right? It's good.
Which was your favorite though, 2011 or 12?
You know, I like the times that I entered by myself. I think maybe in 2012 I entered by myself, right, at number 2. I know I went out early, but I enjoyed that one. You know what I mean? I when I broke away from the Miz, I liked it. You know, because I wanted to be my own character, and you know, maybe I should have gone back to some of the things that got me, you know, to the dance. Maybe more of the varsity villain, but you know, I didn't. Right. So there's, you know, maybe there's a second chance, maybe there's not. But at times, looking back, I should have maybe stayed more true to the original character that I had. But you know, that's neither here nor there now, right?
Yeah, I understand. And I
Yeah.
also wanted this too, Mr. Kiley, and that is, you were drafted in the 2011 supplemental WWE draft, only to be put back on Raw. How did you find out about this switch, and whose idea was it to move you back and forth, only to be put back on Raw because you had a contract with the Miz, a kayfabe contract?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, right? They, you know, once again, I wasn't privy to those conversations, right? I was an employee, so I showed up and did what I was told. Yeah, and but I really believe the plan, you know, and with Miz and I, we didn't quite know where it was headed. And, you know, there was some backstage stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's, do we do this? Do we do that? And, you know, what's the best? So it would be very hard for me to answer that question, because the truth is I don't know. I don't know. And it really wasn't my business. I just kind of, like I said, I showed up and I went to catering, and I waited for direction. Right. So.
And that was actually my next question. At the risk of sounding like a nerd, I know WWE is a very big production thing, so I was just wondering, if what was the catering scene like in WWE, and did you have a particular favorite meal?
You know, it was great. Did I have a particular favorite? You know, I like chicken fingers, right? Buffalo wings. I'm a chicken fingers buffalo wing guy by heart. When I was a kid, I just kind of stuck with that stuff. But the catering was amazing. I mean, they that's the thing about WWE, when you're, you know, it's the best in the world, right? You know, and they do a great job. You know, everybody is fed and taken care of, and you know, the catering was amazing. Ice cream and whatever you wanted, really. Really was good.
Well, what about the gorilla position? What was that like during your time in WWE?
It was like, again, I don't want to like use the rocks thing, right? But it was electric. you know, it's electric, right? It's energy, it's electric, it's everything that you could think of it being, right? And it's so, you know, it's a long dark tunnel with that's lit like a movie theater, right? Like when you walk into a movie theater and it's dark, it kind of it has that mystique to it, right? And it starts, and you make your way up, and you know, and then you get into the gorilla position, and all the producers are sitting there, and you're about to go out, and it's intense. It's intense, man. It's intense, and you need some nerves to do it, you know. But I'm, you know, I chose it for a reason. You know, it called me, and I called it back. Right, I wanted to be there. So it was a test, you know, and a test I thought I did pretty good in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And who were usually your agent or producer, like in your matches and segments?
You know, I had Arn Anderson. He was great. I had him a lot. You know, I had Pat Patterson. He was amazing. You know, I had John Laurinaitis at times. He was great. You know, those guys, all, you know, all the best, right? They really took care of me, and you know, they helped me a lot. You know, because truth be told, you know, I didn't come in with a lot of experience, right? And I spent 3 years in FCW learning and working and getting better. But you know, I needed those guys, and they helped me, right? And they helped me, and they, you know, they made me look good, right? Which I really appreciated.
Very cool. And did you prefer being a baby face or a heel?
You know, I enjoyed being a heel better because I could talk, right? The baby face in the initial development of character, at times the baby face won't talk as much, and I like to talk. You know, I really did. I enjoyed talking and telling people who I thought I was compared to who I thought you are. You know, and it was a place. You know, that the greatest part about WWE was a place that I could get away with it. You know, I could get away with kind of really being myself up there, and people enjoyed it. You know, they enjoyed it, and they thought it was entertaining. So it was, well, like again, it was a good match for me professionally. I'm really glad I chose it. I was there for 10 years, and I'm really glad I chose it as really my trade. You know.
Cool. And of course, on the July 11th of 2013, you made your return to NXT, now under the leadership of Triple H as a color commentator, as the
Right.
analyst of NXT.
Right.
Remember
Right.
doing commentating?
What's that?
What was your memories doing commentating, being a color commentator?
You know, once again, the truth always, right? I was disappointed when I was not wrestling anymore. However, one of the opportunities I got in Hollywood to do Steel Horse was off a tape that I sent from what I was doing for the WWE Network, and the guy that was helping me get that opportunity was floored by my charisma, he said, right? And I was able to show that on the WWE Network. So, you know, God has a plan, right? That's the best way I can describe it. And it was interesting how I went from wrestling to commentating, then on Netflix as a massive babyface wrestler. So, you know, what I try to do is the best I could with what they gave me, you know, because I wanted to be a good employee. That was very important to me, and always has been, you know, growing up, to do what I was told and do it the best I could. Right. So when they made me a commentator, I strapped it up, and I did the best I could with it. And I, you know, some people thought I was great. Other people thought, you know, maybe I could have done this better. Maybe I could have done that better. But I was proud of the effort. You know, I was proud of the effort that I gave. I really enjoyed breaking down matches. I thought I was good at it. And I love sports, right? And it is sports entertainment. So once again, it fit well.
That's awesome, man. Like
Yeah.
I said, I always respected your work, sir, and I think you're
Yeah.
one of the best.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciated that, and I really appreciate that. And you know, I hope, you know, maybe I get another opportunity. You know, that's what I'm really looking to get. I think I'm still young enough, and I feel good now. My body needed to regenerate a little bit, right? And it has. So you know, I'm looking for some space to get back in there, and you know, who knows? We'll see, right? We come back even better of a version than last time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you still follow the current WWE and or even AEW product?
You know, I haven't. I've been following a little bit of AEW. I'm very on and off with it, right? I try to stay in touch with it the best I can, but I'm also doing some stuff for Fox News. So I've switched into a little bit of a political thing. But I'm trying to stay current the best I can. Yeah.
I understand. And like you, sir, I have like that go-to attitude as well. Like I'm always told if I have to do something, just let me know what I have to do. I'll do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And of course, this question is from a good friend of mine, Chris Davids. He wants to know
Sure.
your memories of your program in NXT with Kevin Owens.
Kevin was a very tough kid, right? Tough man. You know what I mean? Better said. Very, very tough man. Very good in the ring. Good mic. All in all, in my opinion, I was highly impressed with his ability, and I thought he was a total package performer. You know what I mean? That's the truth. I was, and again, I was there for a long time and wasn't quite familiar with what he had done, but got a chance to work with him. And that's another guy, right? It has to be real to you. It's very important when you're out there. This is my life. This is what I do, and you're not going to take it from me. And he had that in him, and I respected that. It was good, and I hope he respected it in me. He was on his way up. I was kind of on my way out at the time, but it was good. It was entertaining. It was fun, and it held my attention. Right, working with him. So I was impressed.
Very cool, man. And
Yeah.
of course, your memories of working the WrestleMania 31 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I'm not. I believe I might have gone out pretty early.
I gotta rewatch that.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I was out there, it was a gift, right? Anytime I was out there, it was a gift. And, especially to be, even now you're mentioning my name alongside, clearly not Andre the Giant, but just to be associated to things like that, and be in WrestleManias. Anytime I got an opportunity to walk into a WrestleMania, man, it was, like I said, if you get an opportunity to do it, and I'll always be grateful for it.
God bless you, sir. And
yeah,
I got to ask you too, and I forgot to ask this question too during the Miz questions, and that was, of course, your memories of working your match with the Miz at Capital Punishment.
That was amazing. It was my hometown. It was Washington D.C. Yeah, and it was to go out there, and because the Varsity Villain was something I created via my experience, my real life experience, as that was a Robinson letter jacket. Like I went to Robinson High School, so the R signified Robinson, but it also signified my mother's maiden name, which was Riley. Right, that's where I got that name. It's my mother's maiden name, is Riley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a good fit in that regard. But then I walked out there in front of all those people, and all those kids. I went to high school, right down the street from there, about 35, 40 minutes away. So everybody that had kind of known me growing up, known my story, I hope a lot of them were there. Some of them were there, and the others kind of got the news. And it was like, again, a very special night. And then to beat them there in my hometown was great.
Cool, man. Pardon me. Cool, man.
Yeah.
And just had wanted to get your thoughts too, like, of course, on the like, if you watch the current WWE product, how it is like comparable to what it was back then.
Oh, I think it's as good or better. I mean, the thing that I'm impressed about with WWE is they stay very topical. You know what I mean? They stay very current in pop culture, and you're not gonna. The thing about WWE is an institution. Right, it's a worldwide institution now. It's not even just an American. It's a worldwide institution, and it's been there forever, and it's going to be there forever. And that's something that it's indescribable. The accomplishment of the people that are running that place have done. People don't. It was the longest running episodic television show in the history of TV, I believe. Yeah. So, that's how can you even describe that, right? I mean, how can you even describe the genius and the work that it takes to do that? And not only do it, but do it as, political things change, and the world changes, and music changes, and movies change. They're always there, and they're always a constant, and they're always going to be a constant, and I have nothing but respect for them.
Very cool. And a couple of more questions before we conclude. One of the questions I had was, what was your reason behind leaving WWE? 2014, I believe.
Yeah, no, nothing. It was a thing where I was, I had an opportunity to do some acting, right? And I wanted to take it, and it was a very mutual parting. There was no, there was, things get blown up here and there, but it was I was getting older, right? I was getting older, and I wasn't quite being used in the spot that I wanted to be, and but it was fine. I went on and I did some acting, and once again, I'm grateful. The opportunity to be to work for Netflix was great, and we parted pretty much in love. It was good. Yeah.
By the way, you were excellent in on Glow. Was it Glow?
Yeah, Glow. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and one of the other questions I had for you was, when you were doing commenting, nobody was screaming in your ear, right? I just want to make sure nobody was screaming, right? Because I've heard stories about like how Vince would scream in people's ears and commentating.
I never got any of that, right? He was always really good with me. I have nothing negative about him at all. He was, I know he always, he thought I was really talented. He thought I was great, really good performer. And no, truth be told, never, not once with me. He was always pretty uplifting, to be honest. Yeah.
That's good. Now, Kevin, before we conclude, because my show is an open forum, this is the part where you can promote, hype, talk about anything you want. The floor is yours, Mr. Kiley.
Man, I just, I want to say, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. You've been wonderful. Your questions have been great, and I'm doing some stuff with Fox News and Tyrus, and if anybody who's watching or listening to you wants to tune into that, you can get it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, and I'm in the studio working with him, and so like I said, grateful and on my way to maybe to return to WWE, maybe to return to AEW, certainly to get myself back out there doing something. So to all those who have supported me, God bless you and thank you very much, yourself included.
Thank you so much, sir. And could we possibly see Kevin Kiley coming out of the babyface tunnel or the heel tunnel in AEW?
I'm a babyface now, brother. I'm all babyface. Yeah.
That's awesome. And before we conclude, Mr. Kiley, there's two things I want to say. Three things actually. That's gonna put you over big time. One is you have the acting ability that can make a 32-year-old me feel like a little kid again.
Okay.
That's how great your acting is, and that's how believable I feel when I watch you.
Thank you very much.
That I also want to say that you are one of my inspirations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And of course, this is what you definitely deserve, and that is thank you, Riley.
Yeah.
Thank you, Riley.
Well, to all of those who have supported me, and even through COVID and all of that, or whatever that was, whatever that was, and we all kind of suffered through that, and that it was a tough time in history, right? So, everybody that stood by me, everybody who saw that my message was love, and all of that, I'm very grateful for all of you, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that you would have me on to speak, man. I am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and it was an honor, a total honor having you on. Not only God bless you, sir, but this was a total fun, pleasure, and honor doing this interview. And I will send you a copy of this interview as soon as I'm done with the editing.
Okay.
And I'll send it on my Instagram and Facebook page, and I'll send you a request on both of them, so that way you can get the links.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. God bless you as well. Have a wonderful night.
You too, sir. Have a good night.